Okay, so who's going to give me an insight? Like Evelyn, Prasanna, you guys have some idea about spiritual laws because you've done sessions with me on ancestral healing. I don't know if you've done angel therapy with me or not, but in every program that I do, there's not a single program in which I've not spoken about spiritual laws. And every time anybody comes to do ancestral healing or any other program with me, I always say, always start with spiritual laws because that is like the first step. As an amateur, that is the first step, that you should do. So, what do you understand?
Ma'am, spiritual laws are like law of nature,
Okay.
which the universe has. There are some laws which are created by nature, and sometimes we follow. Then only means if we are on the right path, it helps us. What? No words.
Helps us living life more beautifully and peacefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I would not say that your life changes, but you are able to accept those challenges which come your way in a more easy way. I'm so glad, Chachi, good to see you.
Jai Hind.
How are
Hi.
you?
I'm good. Can
Okay,
you hear
guys,
me?
so this is my participant from Spiritual Laws. She's done all the 36 laws with me. I'm so happy that you're here, Chachi. Very surprised to see you and Nimisha both for the session. So before I begin and explain what spiritual laws are, I'll let her explain what her, what do I say, rendezvous or her experience with spiritual laws has been. So go ahead, Chachi.
I was not ready for this.
And I was very happy. Yay.
Yay, acha.
Fire.
You could pass it on to me.
Yes.
Hmm. For me, spiritual laws changed my entire perspective of looking at life. I can't see you people. Something is wrong here.
No,
Just a
the video is off.
Give me a sec.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can see you now.
Yeah. So, like I said, these spiritual laws, when we did with you, changed my entire perspective towards life. And now I look at life with a more, say, positive approach. And well, it has taught me lots. Patience, compassion. I mean, you name it and it's there.
Okay.
All the good attributes one can have.
Absolutely.
And love, unconditional love.
Unconditional.
We all have these things in us, but the way Sonali conducted these spiritual laws, everything was like brought up or to the surface.
To the surface, absolutely.
Yeah. So it was a mind-blowing entire journey.
Absolutely.
है ना?
And I've been trying कि मैं किस तरीके से इसको shortcut करूं. And I've tried whether, I should do small workshops, but then there is no shortcut to spiritual law. Like 36 of them have to be given out. If they're not given out, then it's literally like, how do you
Yeah,
do?
because they're all interconnected and one leads to the other.
Absolutely. And I remember during that time, because we were so fresh, I think we were dealing with COVID at that point of time when we did spiritual
Yeah.
laws. And every day I used to put something on the group and I used to be like, okay, which law is this? Some
That was
statement.
well fun and learning too.
Yes, some statement I would give and I was like, okay, now find out which law is this. So it was literally like you're doing, I mean, you're back in school, but not literally in school.
And we used to jump at it. Okay, let me answer first.
Yes. And I remember you used to give 10. ये भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है, ये भी है. Used to be a lot of fun.
होते थे, because they're all interconnected. One is overlapping the other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So guys,
But you can't do without them.
absolutely. So guys, to put spiritual laws in a nutshell is we have the legal laws, like something which I have written even when when I sent a message on the group, that the way you have legal laws, that if you commit a murder, so phansi lagegi. Okay. So in the same way, it is literally like these are certain laws which are not enforced upon us because sadly they are not taught to us. I wish these laws became a part of our curriculum in school at a very, very early age. Then life would have been easier because then so many answers you would get, like so many answers. Like by the end of spiritual laws, your questioning would stop because you would get your answer and you're like, oh my God, this is this law. I shouldn't be doing this. Which is why, when people ask me that, oh, why don't you get after people? Then I'm like, I can't. I cannot disrespect the law. And then people look at my face like, what law are you talking about? Which law is it, Chachi?
Law of request.
Law of request. Absolutely. So we will touch upon all those laws one by one, and quite an eye opener. And especially for people, who are healers, for them this law is very important. So let me just give you an introduction, not only into spiritual law, but very, very basic introduction. We've spoken about this even when we've done ancestral healing. So Jata's done ancestral healing with me. So my question is, why do we take birth on Earth? Why do we come on this planet?
To learn our lessons
Absolutely.
and give lessons to others.
Why only Earth? Jupiter पे क्यों नहीं जाते हम?
जुपिटर पे लाइफ होगी तो चले जाएंगे.
Why is
I'm
Earth
the
so
only one
special?
talking.
Why is
Because
this planet so special?
basically, when people are saying that heaven and hell, so what they didn't explain to us clearly was that earth is heaven and hell. And so we are here to experience all the emotions and sort out whatever we want to learn to, just elevate our soul and to be with one with the light. So this is the place which is really giving us the emotions which we can classify into heaven and classify into hell.
And we are the ones who have chosen, to take birth and come on the planet. It was a choice which we made, when we passed over
Soul contract.
in our previous life.
It's a part of our soul contract.
Absolutely. So I call this planet a mystery school. It is a mystery school because you never know. You don't even know why you're here. Right? Why are we here, guys? Why have we taken birth? What are the lessons to master eventually?
Bottom line is love, according to whatever I have learned so far.
Absolutely. The only language which is spoken across all dimensions, space, and time.
Yes.
Isn't it?
So we can have an ego which is always in a fight and flight mode.
Absolutely.
It kind of protects us always, and that's the role of the ego to do that. It's not that the ego is wrong.
Wrong, yes.
But we have to then kind of reach a point with all our learning that we do over here that we let ego kind of, subside down and the concept of love really rise into our consciousness. So it is, it can be explained and expressed in multiple ways, but most is that we accept people and things and places as they are.
Absolutely.
Because each one of us is
very,
on a
very beautifully
journey.
put. Very, very beautifully put that we accept people and situations as they are. Guys, when we do spiritual laws, we do not change the world. We change
ourselves.
Right? When your perspective shifts, when you get transformed, everything else looks so beautiful. कोई गलत ही नहीं लगता है ना? Law of perspective. Everybody's right in his or her own way.
Yeah,
of looking
because
at things, given the situation that person is in.
I'll just say one thing before I mute myself.
No, carry on.
So the thing is that because we are all on individual journeys and each one's, so there is no right and there is no wrong. There is not
Absolutely.
even a gray over here. It is just that wherever you are, for you, that is right. And wherever I am, that is right. But then there is a lot of drama in between which gets pulled in. So I think the biggest learning that we have to do in these spiritual classes is to learn to identify the drama
Absolutely.
and then just learn how to handle it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, guys, I'll go back to what Sujata had said when I said that Earth is a mystery school. So, when we respond to all our tests, all the challenges which are sent our way by love, empathy, and compassion.
Compassion.
Absolutely. We become masters. We become masters of our own lives. Okay, you dictate your own life. Who says that you don't write your own patri? Who says you do not change your lines, which are in your palms? You do, with your own thoughts, with your own actions, right? Isn't it? So, guys, the whole aim of humanity is to move from the 3D to the
5D.
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 Now, who's going to explain to me what is the 3D and what is the 5D? 3D means third dimension, moving into the fifth dimension. Chachi.
You never told me to revise through my.
I'm very happy to see you.
I can maybe just take you slightly through it, and then Sonali, of course, you are the best person to move it forward. So basically, 3D is where we all have already been, and we kind of passed most of our lives in 3D. And 4D is basically where there is some sense of time still over there. But 5th dimension is actually the space for manifestation. And it is a space where there is really no time. There's no sense of time. It is just this concept of love that we are talking about. So I'm not saying that we all become Mahatmas and we all become, spiritual leaders, but what we can do in our own way and for us and for people that we love around us is, again, I would say, learn to really differentiate between the drama that is happening and the actual, what the person or the situation is trying to teach us. So when we do a little bit of that on a regular basis, we kind of move into the 4th dimension. And then when we do it as a practice and we, it becomes like a way of living, is when we are actually moving into the 5th dimension.
So in layman's language, I'll put it in a very short and crisp way. Okay? If we are operating from our ego, okay, I would say, have you heard about Janvar Pravritti? What is Janvar Pravritti? Animal instincts. What is the difference between human beings and animals? How do we differentiate ourselves from human beings and animals? Is because if two dogs, they see a roti on the road, they will fight over the roti. So that's an animal instinct. That's what you call the animal pravritti. Janvar pravritti jisko hum bolte hain. So that is 3D. Whenever you're coming from an emotion of jealousy, anger, which are your lower emotions, ego, right? All these emotions, they make you a 3D being, which they make you a third dimensional being. So don't think that these are like, just like if you see like a picture that, 3D is here and 5D is here. No, we experience 3D and 5D literally every single day and every single minute in our lives. Every time that you are operating out of love. Like you see a boy on the road who's begging. Okay, you open your car window and give him a biscuit. What have you done? You have just operated from compassion. You've operated from love and empathy. So immediately at that point of time, you have become 5D. Are you getting what I'm saying? You have become a 5th dimensional being because you are able to remove that veil of ego and anger. Suddenly you start the car and this guy in front of you suddenly stops the car and you bang your car and ram your car into that guy. And you get very, very angry. Dikhta nahi hai kya? राइट ग्रीन हो गया है, तुमने गाड़ी नहीं चलाया, तुम्हारी वजह से मेरी गाड़ी टक्कर हो गया, एक्सीडेंट हो गया, and you get out of your car and you start fighting. What happened?
Come back to 3D.
Immediately, from being a 5D being, which you were a minute ago, when you gave that biscuit to that boy, you have become a 3D being. Did you understand the difference between a 3D and a 5D being, Nimisha? And we as human beings,
I did.
do we fluctuate between 3D and 5D? Yes or no?
All the time. All the
All
time.
the time. No matter how hard we try, it is very hard not being 3D. One of the major reasons why I decided to restart spiritual laws was that I realized I was getting little 3D. And I was like, oh my God, I need to go back. And what better way than this? The only thing which will pull me back into being a 5D being is, doing spiritual laws and taking people on the path. Because when you get so involved, when you're working at your workplace, family, there are so many responsibilities. It is very hard for people not to get angry, not to feel jealous, not to feel depressed, not to feel low. So it's the journey between a 3D being to a 5D being. Now, when we do spiritual laws, what is our major endeavor? What is it that we try to do? We try to remain in the energy of being a 5-dimensional being as much as possible. Right? That's what we decide to do. That's what we try to do.
Evolve ourselves.
Absolutely. So guys, many times, we come back on the planet. We've spoken about this, that many times we come back on the planet to learn lessons. We meet similar people. We meet similar situations. When we do the law of karma and reincarnation, you will know in it that whenever you whenever you decide to come back on earth, the reason why you have these difficult people in your life or these difficult situations in your life is because you need to learn those lessons. You were probably not able to learn these lessons in your previous lifetime, because of which you have decided to take birth again, right? And even the physical body that you have, what does it mean? Your physical body is a sum total of your karmas. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Everything gets manifested in your physical being depending on what karmas you did in your previous life. So if in this lifetime, somebody is suffering from cancer, somebody's got a tumor, somebody's got, any disease, which is degenerational or which is affecting your being, the reason for it is mostly your past life karmas, which get manifested in this life in the physical form. Okay. But the problem is that when we take birth, we forget. What do we forget?
Past karmas.
We forget why we are here. We forget that we came here because we signed up for it. We forget that the parents that we have, we chose them. They chose us way before you were born. Okay? Soul contracts you have together with each other. Families travel together as constellations. Law of karma, right? And the good part is, as crazy it may sound or upsetting it may sound, the good part is that on this journey, you are not alone. What does that mean? Who's there to support you on this journey?
Our angels.
Angels.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Who's that one angel who's always with you throughout life?
Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael.
The Archangel Michael is an archangel. I'm talking about that one particular angel.
Guardian angel.
we always have a guardian angel with us. We've done a lot of meditation where we've tried to connect to our guardian angels. So a guardian angel is somebody who walks with you throughout life. So not only in this lifetime, even when you pass over, when you go up there, you sit down with your guardian angel, and your guardian angel sits down with you and tells you, okay, tuck, 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 tuck. This is what you were supposed to do. And tuck, 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 this is what you did. All this is where you went wrong. Now what do you want to do? So full life story you sit down with, and then you decide, oh my God, I think I need to go back. I need to rectify this. And then when you come back, what happens? Everything is wiped out. That's why they say, the first 40 days after birth are very important, because the first 40 days, the soul remembers its previous birth. But of course, the child cannot talk. So you don't know what's going on. That is why, you have that infant who's smiling, sometimes they're crying, sometimes they're making faces, because they're remembering everything in those 40 days. Okay. So that's what happens when we pass over. Our guardian angels protects us and is a voice of your conscience, guys. What does this mean? Every time you have a thought in your head, which is good, which comes from within, from inside, that, oh, you know what, Sonali, you should do this. And I immediately act upon it. You know it. I don't wait. How, what, when, kaise hoga, I don't know. I immediately act upon it because, like I said, that your guardian angel is a voice of your conscience. That is something which has come from within. You think that it's your own voice, but it is the voice jo dali gayi hai. Lot of times we think it's our gut feeling. This is what it means. But it is your guardian angel who's always guiding.
And you can break the trust like this also.
No, there was a time when I had restricted.
Oh, what was that? Okay. So guys, another important thing is that we attract angels in our life. I'm going to repeat this. You can write it down if you want. We attract angels into our life for different areas and tasks. What are these angels called? Particular काम के लिए लोग होते हैं ना?
For different areas and tasks.
Yes. Different type of angels are attracted into your life. Okay. So who are these? What do we call them?
Archangels.
No. Come on, Sujata, I'm counting on you. To work on specific areas, specific purpose, specific tasks. What are they called? Spirit guides.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
You remember
Yes.
connecting with your spirit guide when we
Yeah,
did
yeah, yeah. I mean, that too we
ancestral
do
healing?
all the time. All the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. So for different purposes, different tasks, different areas, different situations, you've got specific spirit guides. Okay? Everyone has a spirit guide, guys. Like we all have a guardian angel. In the same way, we all have spirit guides. All right? And
Ma'am,
yes.
how do we recognize? How do we know?
Let me tell you the difference between a spirit guide and an archangel first. But there are a lot of new people who do not understand the term archangels, right? So spirit guides are people who have walked the planet. Okay? Spirit guides are people who have taken birth on the planet in human form. Can you give me an example of a spirit guide?
Your parents.
Okay, so I would call them our ancestral guides. When they pass over and when they are taking care of you in the other realm, guiding you, whenever they're coming into your dreams, giving you some messages, more like an ancestral guide. But yes, that would be a spirit guide. I'm talking about a more generalized spirit guide. Think of people who walk the planet.
Gurus that we've had, like for example, Neem Karoli Baba,
Absolutely.
Paramahans, all the
Yogananda. Absolutely. Baba Sai, absolutely, Deepa. Sai
Yeah.
Baba of Shirdi. So the reason, if you see the reason why every post of mine has Om Guru and Jai Baba, you've got Paramhans Yogananda and you've got Sai Baba of Shirdi. Because the two things which I do in my life, one is meditation, taking people on the spiritual path, and the second is doing seva. So my spirit guide for that particular purpose is Sai Baba of Shirdi. My seva is because of Sai Baba of Shirdi. My kitchen is called Sai Ki Rasoi because he is very big on compassion. He is very big on seva. And Master is very, very big on going within, going inwards. Okay? So two very, very powerful spirit guides, ascended masters, you can call them. You can call them either. Okay? They are there in my life to take me through. In the same way, we've got spirit guides, we've got ancestral guides, we've got these special guides who have walked the planet, and after their death, they choose to be a guide for the human race. So even after death, they are operating from compassion and love. Now we all know Rusbe Baba, right? Now Rusbe Baba is an auto writer and he's a medium who connects with Sai Baba of Shirdi, right? So every time that Baba connects with him, there's a message for us. People who go meet Baba, they always have a message coming from Sai Baba of Shirdi that this is what you need to do, or this is what is the problem which is going to come up. So take care of this. So all those messages which are coming to you is because Baba is still there. You can't see him because, of course, he's operating at a vibrating at a very, very high frequency, which we as human beings cannot see or hear because we are restricted because of our 5 senses. Why do I call it restricted? Because that's what science has taught us. जो आंख देखे वही सच है, जो कान सुने वही सच है, जो टेस्ट करो वही सच है, जो फील करो स्किन बोल रही है वही सच है. So that's how we've been trained. When you go beyond these 5 senses is when you connect with these higher powers. So many people are followers of Guruji. Okay, so many of them have had miracles happening. They've seen so many changes happening or transformation happening in their lives. And for them, it's like Guruji is there. But Guruji is taken Samadhi. Guruji is not living anymore. How do they connect with Guruji? They connect with Guruji because he's still there as a spirit guide. Now, very important. Write this down. Now I'm talking about all very good spirit guides. Huh? You attract a spirit guide in your life as per the light you radiate. क्या मतलब? कौन सी लाइट आ रही है? ट्यूबलाइट, TFL, किस लाइट की बात कर रहे हैं हम? या सुजाता?
Ma'am, you attract spirit guides in your life as per
the light that you radiate. Yeah, Sujata.
So basically, all of us are working towards, all of us here together here are working towards a spiritual growth. But each one of us is walking a different path, which is unique to our own journey.
Absolutely.
So in that sense, some people could be carrying more light than the others. So whenever it is always the vessel that creates the guide that you invite. So if
Beautifully
the
put.
vessel,
Very, very beautifully put. Guys, I want this line is there in the recording. I want everybody to write this down. Can you repeat it, Sujata? I love it.
what did I say? So you have to create the vessel which attracts the guide that you want. You create a bigger vessel, you get a higher light inside. And for whatever reason, whatever vessel you're creating, you are just attracting you. So it's resonance from what is within. It's not that they are saying this is less or this is more. They are just saying that right now where you are, this person can help you the most. Similarly, if we are to learn a lesson of class 5th, if a teacher of class 8 starts teaching maths over there, everything will go above our heads and we'll not understand nothing. It can be any subject, it can be any topic. I've just taken maths as an option. So it's the same concept what we are talking here. So if we are in the 5th standard, then of course we should get the best guide that we can get for the 5th standard. If we are in the 7th standard, then we get the best one that is. So it's just like how.
So to put it in a nutshell, an evolved soul,
Huh.
soul which is evolved, will attract greater guides. Yeah.
Because उनको लगेगा कि उनकी बात किसी को समझ में आ रही है, नहीं तो वो अपना टाइम वेस्ट करने के लिए उनके पास टाइम
नहीं है उनके पास टाइम, बिल्कुल नहीं है उनके पास टाइम, बट वो फिर भी because they are multi-dimensional being.
Yes, so time वहाँ है नहीं लेकिन.
And time वहाँ पे है ही नहीं, कोई constraint
है ही
नहीं
नहीं
है,
वहाँ
so yes,
time.
they're always there. They're always there to guide us. So guys, an evolved soul will always attract greater guides. Okay. We have many guides that help us with different aspects of our lives. Like I said, like seva aspect, somebody will take. I'm talking about myself. Seva aspect, I will have one guide who will take care. Okay. When it comes to work, I have another guide who will take care of that. So it's literally like who's doing what. So a lot of people ask me, you are a Shiv Bhakt, you do Shiv Aradhana also in the same way, then you talk about the angels also. What exactly are you? Like we don't understand. Vishnu bhi वैसे ही, Shiv bhi वैसे ही, archangels हैं जो Jesus Christ के पीछे भी, you know, you go absolutely crazy because. So that's the thing. That for every aspect of your life, you have a different spirit guide. Who has asked you to choose one when you've got so many? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it not? So why not make use of that opportunity that has come our way? Why miss out on that opportunity? Then guys, we have helpers. Who are helpers? Now helpers have lived with us in our lives and they love us dearly and deeply. So sometimes they decide to help us after they pass over. These can be our loved ones. These can be our family. These can be our friends. These can be acquaintances who even after death love you so deeply that they want you to progress spiritually faster and quicker. So those are the helpers that we have. Okay. Now these are very basic angels that we've spoken about. Even when I do angel therapy, I speak about these angels. Other than the spirit guides, other than our helpers, other than the guardian angels, we still have angels which are really, really high up in the hierarchy. Prasanna, what do we call them? You know, तब से बोले जा रही है. अब बोलने का नाम आया है, बोल नहीं रही है. You are on mute.
Archangels.
Archangels, yes. So archangels, ascended masters like Gautam Buddha, Mahavira, Guru Nanak, all these people who are high up there in the hierarchy, they are ascended masters, archangels, you can write it down, who have mastered all the lessons on this planet. Mahavatar Babaji. Okay. So these, Jesus Christ. So these are people who have mastered all these lessons. They have walked the planet. They have mastered all these lessons. mastered lessons on ego, mastered the lessons on jealousy, mastered the lessons on love, compassion, empathy. Mother Teresa. So all these people, they have mastered all those lessons and they have decided to help us. And they are helping people in getting evolved. They are helping people on the planet by choosing mediums. Like again, I would take example of Rushdie Baba. He has been chosen by Sai Baba of Shirdi to carry his message. Right? In the same way, we have a lot of masters, like we have Shri M. I don't know how many of you have heard about Shri M. So Shri M has met Mahavatar Babaji. He's taken the technique of Kriya Yoga from Mahavatar Babaji. So he is, again, a vessel. We are all just vessels. We are all just mediums. None of us are masters. We are all just mediums who are carrying on the task of helping humanity to evolve. Okay? Now, we come to the point. अब तक हमने बहुत कहानी कर ली. Now, even when you have these people, be it your helpers, be it your spirit guides, be it your archangels, be it your ascended masters, be it your guardian angel, they all have a limitation. You know what is that limitation? What limitations do these guys have, guys? They have tremendous power. They're multidimensional beings. You can't see them, you can't feel them. But they have a limitation.
They can't come down to the 3D level.
They can't come down to the 3D level. Yes, we can say that. What else? Very important.
Mhm.
Anyone? Okay, guys. So their limitation is that they have to operate within the framework of the spiritual laws. The same spiritual laws which I'm going to give you when you guys join the session on spiritual laws, because it is very important for each one of us to know that it is not only you who is supposed to be operating within these spiritual laws, but even your ascended masters, your gurus, your guides. Nobody can surpass these spiritual laws. They have to work within the framework of spiritual laws. Otherwise, they also end up earning negative karma. Interesting, right? क्या हो गया? सब चुप क्यों हो गए? Where's everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right here.
Lovely. Okay. So guys, we are multidimensional beings. क्या मतलब? अभी मैंने example दिया था right before I began the session. What do you mean by we are multidimensional beings? What do you mean by multidimensional?
We can go from 3D to 4D to 5D.
Absolutely. From one dimension to another. All clear? Any questions? You understand dimensions? I'm going to talk about dimensions. So guys, what is a dimension? Any idea?
No.
Oh,
It's a
lovely.
measure.
Okay. Yes. Who said that?
Measure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dimension is a measure.
It is a measure, which means it is a frequency range. What is it? It is a
frequency.
frequency range,
Okay.
right? Now we all know about bats. Bats can't see, but their hearing power is very strong. They hear frequencies which we cannot hear. A bat echoes. That sound only a bat can hear and understand because वो जब आवाज निकालता है वो आवाज टकरा के वापस आती है उसके कान में. So then they get to know कि सामने कितना डेंजर है, कहाँ पर वॉल है, कितने मीटर उसको उड़ के जाना है कि उसको चोट ना लगे, कितने मीटर आगे उसको खाने के लिए खाना मिलेगा. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
So that's how you
Right.
understand a dimension. A dimension means a frequency range. Now the whole universe, guys, is bound by these frequencies. If you go on YouTube, so today's homework, when you go on YouTube, you type the frequency of love. So all the frequencies are measured in hertz. Physics पढ़ा था स्कूल में?
Yeah.
Hertz frequency होती है ना?
Yes.
All your emotions, all your feelings, all your thoughts, they have a frequency band. And luckily, you people are very blessed. YouTube has all the frequencies for different types of emotions, different types of thoughts. They're all measured in hertz. Okay. So when I'm saying that a dimension means a frequency range, what does that mean? That means we are all made up of different
Frequencies.
frequencies. One part of us might be stuck to a lower frequency, and some part of us might be attached to a
Higher.
higher frequency. What does that mean? I'm going back to that example. On that red light, when I gave that packet of biscuit to that boy begging on the road, I was operating at a
Higher frequency.
higher frequency. And when I banged my car because of somebody else's fault, and I got out of the car and I started fighting, I was operating at a
Low.
lower frequency. Clear? Any questions? So every time that you're operating from love, empathy, compassion, patience, you're operating at a higher frequency, which is why we call ourselves multidimensional beings, because within a minute, you can fluctuate between one frequency band into another. Agreed? अभी
Yes.
एक सेकंड में हम इतनी अच्छी अच्छी बातें कर रहे हैं और अभी यहाँ से बाहर जाएंगे और एकदम से कुछ गड़बड़ होगा घर के अंदर और हम एकदम से गुस्सा हो जाएंगे. तो अभी हम बड़े 5D फील कर रहे हैं और बाहर निकल के एकदम से सडनली हम 3D हो जाएंगे. Yes or no? ठीक है? ये ह्यूमन है ना? That is why humans are called 3D beings. Now I'm going to explain to you. So let me say that a negative emotion means a lower frequency and a positive emotion means a higher frequency. Easy? That's how we understand frequency and that's how we understand dimensions. Very simple way of putting it. Okay. Now I'm going to explain to you what the different dimensions are. What is the first dimension?
The lowest dimension, you mean?
Yeah, the first dimension. Each dimension is very important, guys. Let me tell you that. Every dimension in the universe is as important as the other dimension because every dimension gives us something. There is always something to take back from every dimension. So the first dimension is the mineral kingdom, Earth. Okay. What do you get from the mineral kingdom? What kind of healing do you think you get from the mineral kingdom? What do you get from Earth?
Everything.
Water.
Water, air, food, oxygen,
I'm talking about minerals. What minerals do you
iron,
get from Earth? Absolutely.
iron.
Absolutely. So can I say that the first dimension is not important?
No, it's very
Getting all
important.
your minerals from the first dimension, that means that the first dimension is very, very important. Now, what is one healing product which encompasses the power of the first dimension?
Crystals.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Crystals. That is why crystals are so important. Crystals contain the power of the earth. जब माइनिंग करते हैं तो ये क्रिस्टल्स अर्थ के अंदर से निकलते हैं which is why crystals have a lot of healing property. Okay, so that is the first dimension. So now can I say that first dimension is not important? No,
No.
that's not the case. First dimension is just as important as the fifth dimension is. So a lot of healers use the first dimension for healing. What are they called? Crystal healers. Interesting. Now we come to the second dimension. Second dimension is the plant kingdom. Okay. What kind of healing do you think you get from the plant kingdom? This is easy.
Herbal, right?
Herbal, Ayurveda, yeah, where you use the properties of plants to heal. In our olden days, when we didn't have doctors, we had Ved. In our princely states and kingdoms, who used to come, they used to use the power of the plants, you know, in order to heal people. So plant, that is where you get Ayurveda from. Now the third dimension where we are is called the animal kingdom. So we are a part of the animal kingdom. We have not really graduated, most of us. A lot of us are still fluctuating between 3D, 4D, 5D, but we are very much there in the 3D. Like we keep falling back to the 3D level. Every time that we get angry, every time that we get jealous, every time we feel insecure, every time that we operate from fear, we keep falling back into the 3D realm. Right? So when you're materialistic and people with low frequency, I would not say all the people, but people with low frequency, as in pessimistic people, negative people, judgmental people, people who gossip all the time, they are stuck to the third dimension. Until the time they don't work on themselves, till the time they don't work on their thoughts, they remain there. You know, it's very hard for them to move on to the next dimension. So work is needed there. How do we work? Overnight change हो जाएगा क्या आज ये session के बाद सब कुछ? हो जाएगा? Possible?
No.
Be true, guys, be real. Tell me. Is it possible?
We need to work on ourselves.
Okay, but then can it happen overnight?
No.
Not over.
Of course, it cannot happen overnight. And even after 1 year of spiritual laws, will it happen?
Maybe we reach the fourth
Some
dimension.
part.
Some
Yeah,
part
some
yes,
part.
some part no. Then what do?
Keep trying.
You catch yourself. Every time that you're operating from the 3D space, you catch yourself. You become aware. This is where I went wrong. I shouldn't have done this. This could have been dealt in a different way. You accept it, you acknowledge it. And then you decide that next time, if a situation like this happens, you know what? I'm going to operate like this. I'm going to respond like this. I'm going to retaliate like this. I'm not going to get triggered like this. Right or wrong? That's all that you need to do. There's nothing else that you need to do. That is all. Sounds very simple, but the problem is, at that point of time, we all forget. Because everything just goes out of the window when a situation like that arises. And this has happened time and again. But at least the good part is, you know, all my students from spiritual laws, I still remember getting a call from one of my participants a few months back, and she was like, please do something. And I was like, what's gone on? What's gotten into you? And she's like, no, please do something. I have become very 3D. And I started laughing. I said, the fact that you've caught yourself and that you know that you are 3D, half problem is solved. Isn't it? Just by catching yourself and knowing that you're operating from the animal kingdom and you're not operating from a 4D or a 5D level means half the battle is already won. Okay, now what is the fourth dimension? We moved into the fourth dimension years back. At this dimension, we start remembering, we start questioning our existence. How many of you question your existence? How many of you have this question in your mind? Why did I take birth? What am I doing here on
Me,
this planet? What am I supposed
me,
to be
me.
here for? Am I here just to eat, pray, sleep, repeat? Yeah? Is that वो गाना है ना? Eat, play, whatever. So guys, every time that you started, the fact that you started questioning yourself, okay, raise your thumbs up or your hands up, whoever feels that you started getting this yearning or that feeling that what am I here for? Everyone.
Yes.
Via, Nimisha, Deepa. Shivoli, Richa. Absolutely. अगर वो क्वेश्चन मार्क आ गया है ना लाइफ के अंदर एक मैं कर क्या रही हूँ यार आई क्यों हूँ यहाँ पे कर लिया ना बस कमा रहे हैं पैसे बच्चे भी हैं पढ़ भी रहे हैं नो व्हाट आफ्टर दिस लाइक व्हाट डू आई डू नाउ नो एवरी टाइम दैट यू क्वेश्चन योरसेल्फ मींस दैट यू आर मूविंग ऑन टू द next dimension which is the 4D dimension. The moment you start begin to remember your true self, okay, the moment you start to remember your true self, your past life, you have automatically moved into the fourth dimension. Should I give an example of this? How many of you heard about past life regression? Hypnosis.
Heard about it, not that know much.
So what do you mean by that? We do past life
Question.
regression in order to know about our past lives because we are curious, we are inquisitive, or we are Dr. Brian Weiss fans. Who's Dr. Brian Weiss? Not a session goes where I don't talk about him. Not a program where I've not spoken about him. Even have you heard me speak about him?
Yeah.
So Dr. Brian Weiss, the first psychologist or psychiatrist who wrote the book and came up
Messages from the
with the
book.
concept of past life regression. He's the master who started past life regression. In fact, not I would say the first one who started. There might be many psychiatrists who would have stumbled upon it, but nobody spoke about it because it was so against science. Okay, dealing about past lives, talking about past lives. So guys, every time that you dwell upon these thoughts, every time that you question your identity, your existence, you are in the 4D level. And when you are in the 4D level, automatically your heart opens up to love. It opens up to compassion. Yes. So when did we move into the 4D? Any idea? It's very easy, to know कि किस तरीके से humanity on the whole, on a large scale, हम लोग कैसे move कर रहे हैं from one dimension to another.
2020 was a more, the COVID was really meant for this.
That was like a literally
Like a wake-up
them
call.
telling us that now you better move, guys. Enough.
2012 onwards, basically.
Absolutely. So in fact, 2000, I would not say, 2005, but 2010, 2008. So that was more like the time when we started moving into the fourth dimension. Why do I say, how do I know these years? Any way of guessing, any way of knowing of how we are moving into the next dimension or when we moved into this dimension?
in certain sense, basically the old world falls down and a new world is created. So if we think of it in terms of financial, that's the
Yeah.
biggest trigger.
Yeah.
In the spiritual world, surprisingly, financial changes are the biggest triggers which tell you that we are shifting in terms of ascension.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That we're moving
And because
towards a
money, the way it is perceived, money, the way it is exchanged, the money, the way it is stored, changes.
Absolutely.
So
So you know how I put
2008,
it? In a very layman's terms to understand this, 20 years from now, if I had announced a session called Spiritual Laws, I would have 100 people laughing at me and saying, what the hell is this? पहले
Yeah.
हम अपना लॉ पढ़ लें, ये और spiritual laws लेकर आ गई है.
हाँ.
If I would talk about meditation, people would be like, oh, really? Like, are you 80 years old? Who meditates at the age of 20? Are you getting what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
today, you see that shift happening in society. You see that transformation happening in society. You see that change happening in society where
Right.
you have these young little kids. Like the other day, my daughter just messaged me that Mama is full moon on the 19th. I said, no, full moon is not on the 19th. Full moon is on the 25th when you have Holi. And she's like, oh, really? And I was suddenly very surprised because she's an atheist, complete atheist. And I was like, how do you know this? And why do you ask me this? And she goes, oh, no, I saw the reel. And this is what the reel said. Time to shed off your negative baggage. Time to do this. Time to heal. And then I sent her my Insta page. I said, yeah, you know what? Follow this. Follow the you will know. Next is Ekadashi. After Ekadashi, when full moon comes, you will know when full moon is coming. So this is the shift, guys. This is the change. Like you don't even need to create content also. You really don't need to work very hard because it's all out there now. Nobody was talking about this 20 years ago. When I got married, nobody knew truly what meditation was, what Kundalini was, what the chakras were. Today we talk about it like everybody knows. What are the 7 chakras? What are the colors? Right? So that means that the human race, our planet, moved into this dimension at least 10, 15 years ago. Okay. And then we had great gurus walking the planet. Today, some of the better known gurus, we have Sri Ravi Shankar, we have, of course, we have Jaggi Vasudeva, we have like Sadhguru, and we have Shri M, and we have Rusbe Baba. So we have all these people who are holding the torch and taking people onto that path of spirituality. Yeah. So can we call ourselves 4D beings? The fact that you're all here means that you already are 4D beings. The 3D beings have not joined in. How does it feel to be 4D?
So to each their own.
Absolutely.
We are happy where they are. We are happy where
Absolutely.
we are.
Absolutely.
संवाद.
Absolutely. मैं ऐसे ही मजाक करके टांग खींच रही हूँ.
जब जागो तब सवेरा.
Just to explain the difference between 3D and 4D. Yeah. So, in a way, you are in the 4D realm. The fact that you decided to work on yourself, show up for yourself. I will not say that you're showing up for me, but you're showing up for yourself, which is the first step, the very first step towards your healing. Agreed?
Yes.
The first and most important step is to show up. Okay. Now, what is the 5D realm? When we say 5D, it is actually one of the toughest realms to be in and to sustain. Why do I say sustain? We can reach there, but to remain there in that kind of vibration and in that kind of frequency is not easy. Because that frequency band is made up of only love, compassion, and empathy. There is no space for any kind of jealousy, any kind of judgment, and any kind of hatred, any kind of resentment. Can we sustain it for a very long time?
Very different.
Is it possible?
Possible.
Okay. Tomorrow somebody does something very, very bad to us. Okay. Takes away something which is very, very dear to me. What is going to be my first reaction?
Anger.
Resentment, anger.
So we keep fluctuating between the lower and the higher.
but-
Yes, Sujata.
But that is what our journey is all about. We are trying to control our triggers, and we're really, I mean, the whole understanding is coming in the 4D that yes, maybe, okay, maybe we could divide it into levels between 3D and 4D into another 3 sections, for example. So we are at 3A, 3B, or 3C, or we are at 4A, 4B, 4C. So that is the journey that, okay, of course, these emotions will be put forward to us, wherein a lot of things that should not happen according to us will happen to us.
Absolutely. And that is
But
the
it is
lesson.
this whole understanding that if it is happening, we are somehow responsible for it because we've written our whole story before we came here.
Beautiful.
So
Yes.
we just have to be ready for that story.
Absolutely. Take it, accept it with a pinch of salt, live with
We-
it, or
Or
cry
come back
with it.
again and face this again.
Absolutely.
So
It's
we
double the degree.
choose not to come back
Absolutely.
again and face it again, then we just have to work through those ABCs, as I said.
Absolutely. So when you reach the 5D level, you should have reached a state where you're not angry with anyone anymore. No matter what anyone does to you, you have found so much peace in your life that you just forgive that person.
And Sonali, it really works because I mean, we've done this whole session together, and I'm not very sure if I have somebody from our batch over here,
No,
but
I don't
just
think
to
so.
say something because
Prasanna,
I really
no, not from your batch, but Prasanna has done, and even they
Ancestral.
have both done ancestral healing. Yes.
Okay. So just to share something before I leave, because I have something lined up. I mean, because I've been in business all my life, and I've worked with multiple people, and uh, these lessons were my biggest lessons until I didn't start sending out light to those people who wished me nothing but ill will.
Yeah.
Just to say, at least now I know that I've reached a point wherein I'm at peace. That person can be whatever they are, but I'm at peace. And I'm noticing that shift in my attitude. I was a person who was like a ticking ticking bomb all the time. There was any trigger and I would flare up at my workplace. And that is really, it's like, it's your karma. You want to create whatever you want to create. It's fine by me. I'm not a part of that karma of yours.
Absolutely.
And that has really brought a tremendous shift in my workplace. I mean, people don't see me raising my voice. People don't see me, I think it's really changed all that for me.
Absolutely. So when you are in the 5D, you need to remember that people must have forgiven themselves and others. Remember those 3 R's? What are the 3 R's? Anyone remembers? When we did the 3 R's exercise?
Reflect.
Give a hint, please.
Revenge, resentment, and who remembers?
Regret.
Regret, absolutely. The 3 R's. A person who has worked on the 3 R's, he holds no revenge against anyone, has no resentment against anyone, has no regrets in his or her life for doing whatever he or she did. Because you did what you did at that point of time, given the situation that you were in. So don't feel guilty about doing what you did. You worked around those 3 hours. You've done forgiveness work. You've done all your release work. And you have transmuted all your fear and negativity. That is when you become a 5D being. So we don't really stay on to become 5D beings. We keep fluctuating. We might release one thing, and then we might go back to being a 3D again. Suddenly we would become again 5D. Oh, you know what? Doesn't matter. He has done this. We will forgive this one. It's all right. It's okay. And then suddenly something would happen and we would get triggered again. Like I said, we keep fluctuating between the different frequency bands. Okay, guys. So taking this further, let me tell you, after the 5D level comes the 6D level, which is the level of spiritual laws. So now you realize how your ascended masters, your spirit guide, your guardian angels, and everybody, they are below the spiritual laws. And the only one who's above the spiritual laws is the Brahma or the creator. Or you can call him the light, or you can call him whatever, energy. Okay? Clear? Those are the different dimensions. Now I'm going to talk about something very quickly which you will understand, which are our 2 selves. Chachi, what are the 2 selves that we have?
Inner self and outer self.
We have our lower self and our higher self.
Okay.
Lower self is basically every time that you operate from attachment, every time that you operate from negative emotions, jealousy, anger, right? Those are emotions of your lower self. Okay. And every time that you operate from love, empathy, compassion, that means you're operating from your higher self. Okay. So what is the whole idea as students of spiritual laws? What are we here for? We are here to learn our lessons. We are here to accept challenges, face challenges and situations in our life, and try as much as possible to point out what our emotions of our lower selves are. Try to become aware, try to acknowledge what is it that keeps pulling us down. And every time that you get pulled down, we try to operate from love, empathy, and compassion. So the more and more we do these laws, the more and more that we work on ourselves, the more and more that we work on transforming ourselves, we try to lower our emotions attached to our lower self, and we start operating from our higher self. So that's the whole idea of this whole program. Okay? And in order to do so, in order to understand these lessons, in order to operate from our higher selves, in order to pinpoint the emotions of our lower selves, we need to understand the various laws of the universe, which we call the spiritual laws. Okay, so we have 36 spiritual laws in totality. I tried, but there's absolutely no way there can be a shortcut to doing spiritual laws. So these sessions will be conducted in the next few weeks. This will be a 9-session program. We will have 2 sessions in the week, preferably in late evenings, because this is the time which works best for me as well. I hope it works best for all of you guys. So we'll pick 2 days, and these sessions will be for 2 hours. So we do 2 sessions. We do 2 laws per session. That means 4 laws per week. So we complete all the 36 laws in exactly 9 weeks. Okay. Any questions?
Sonali, do we also get to learn how to, like, assuming there's something of the past and that I still regret doing, and so when I learn these laws, do I also learn how do I heal that?
Absolutely. You will get your answers yourself, Ria.
Okay. And just one last thing, I really want to take up these classes.
Yeah.
Something I really wanted to look. I was looking for quite some time, but didn't know where. But I can only do a weekend thing.
Okay. So why don't we do this? Why don't